way we come into this world leaves a blueprint in our life and in our soul. The way we come into this world reveals our society, reflects and affects our culture. Doulas are here to receive, with an open heart, a grounded body and a centered mind, a new life in the way it deserves to be welcomed into this world.
Michel Audin, the known doctor, and Frédéric Leboyer, another known doctor, and many other birth people who are not so known because the system hasn't made them known. But they have taught us that what we meet when we enter the world may form the way we see the world. So if it's violence we meet, we may consider that and expect it to be violent. And if it's respect we meet, we may expect it to be respectful. And I think expectation is a great thing because it already gives you a sense of who you are in the world as you stand. So a child that expects respect, expects to be talked to as they are important and they are unique, they will treat others like that, and they will hold themselves in a way that may not be as easy to harm them.
Being a doula is kind of like being a form of protection for the new family. They're doing this work of learning and bonding, and as a doula I create the conditions for them to be able to do that.
Being a doula means that I have the blessings and the magic of sharing the sacred space surrounding new life.
Doulas have been around since the beginning of time.
Being a doula means love.
Is practicing being there.
For me, a doula means caring.
For me, doula is 2 arms to cuddle you.
A glass of water when you are thirsty. A flashlight in the darkness.
For me, a doula is a guardian to the unknown.
For me, doula is a wise partner during the birth.
Advocate of continuing life.
Doula is empowerment.
Pure presence.
Really meaningful work.
Is a witness to the birth of the future and guide to the gentle birth.
Is about being a silent server to the community.
Like a modern version of the village auntie. The auntie that you can trust with your secrets and who would never judge, only love.
For me, a doula is a sister.
Doula is love. It wasn't one doula, it was over the course of a couple of years where different doulas had the same idea. We need to connect, we need to network. It's different dates, it's different places, it's different times. It doesn't really matter because after a couple of years of this idea, moving around Europe, somehow all these women connected and it slowly began. EDN is this really wonderful network of European organizations of doulas. So we have a network that contains members of associations and trainings from Europe, but even further along. There are currently 43 countries that are members, and I think that we in time will have around 50 or 60.
A network of doulas of Europe, and now it has actually gone beyond Europe, that connects, informs, and supports. These are the three words of EDN, and the idea started with some doulas from different parts of Europe who were looking for exactly these three ideas, these notions of connecting with other doulas in other places, of informing and getting informed about what's going on and what needs to be done, and supporting each other. So after many meetings in different places, informal meetings, the European Doula Network was officially formed and has been going for over a decade. There have been meetings that have had as few as 20 doulas or fewer. We have met in the house of one of the doulas in the UK, and we have met in big conference halls because there have been meetings that have hosted 120 members.
It is a very, very important tool, I would say.
For me, is a wonderful opportunity, a coming together across the whole of Europe. And yeah, I discovered the EDN in 2016 when the London Doulas Doula UK hosted the EDN conference. And the moment that I walked into the room, I just felt this commonality, if that's the right word, that there was people from all over Europe, different languages, different customs, different birth environments, but we all instantly spoke that same language. And it's the first time I'd been in such a different group of people that all spoke the same language. And I found it incredible to share stories. And so in the years since then, in the last however many years since 2016, travelling around Europe, different countries, having different conferences and being hosted by wonderful groups of doulas.
I would say that our main focus, maybe through our annual event, which has been our annual conference, where we meet representatives from all the countries that are and the organizations that are part of EDN. We meet in one location. The meeting is organized by one of the members, and we cover the three aspects that EDN is about. So we may have some lectures, either by our own members or invited speakers, on the idea of informing. And usually we choose that from whatever the members have asked throughout the year. So we ask them, what would you like to learn? How many of you would like to learn more about this subject? Another very strong function of these annual meetings is networking and bonding. I would probably use the word bonding. It's networking, but bonding is what really happens. And actually during the time that we don't meet in the year, we have an email group which is closed to representatives, and representatives can then forward it to other members of their local organizations. And anything that comes into EDN as information or as a question. We forward it to that group, and a lot comes out of it. Many discussions are already being done through those groups. We also have a closed representatives Facebook group, and then we have a Facebook page and we have a web page.
We have one criteria, which is our European Doula Network Code of Ethics. This code of ethics is something that it doesn't matter if you're not a member or your organizations that you're associated with are not members. If you agree to these ethics, which are based on respect, then you can participate with us. These ethics were translated into 16 languages in the space of a few weeks. It was an amazing effort of our representatives in each country.
A doula either needs to be member of an association, a national association that is member of the EDN, or she can become an individual member of the EDN. But I think to really feel being part of the EDN, it's very good to participate at the EDN meetings in person, and really feel the power of the doula group, and or at least it's good to read the EDN newsletter, or maybe write articles for it.
We have an annual membership which varies, so the members can choose between the lowest and the highest fee. They may choose donations, and we have a wonderful idea where you can actually fund another organization or fund a doula to be present at a conference. So some doulas or some organizations that are more well off, they can support, they can afford more. They can fund doulas who are, or organizations of doulas who are new or who have very little funding to even pay EDN membership. Money has never been an issue for somebody who wants to be part of EDN.
Today, EDN is continuing the work we started and has been working with Ukraine doulas in particular recently to help alleviate some of the horrors of the war with Russia.
We have done a lot of work networking Ukrainian doulas and refugees with each other and with other doulas who can host them in the countries they're fleeing to. And we actually have been in touch with many different doulas from all over, including Russian doulas who are willing and looking for ways to support, because we are aware that the actual people are not necessarily presenting the politics of their government. So the personal relationships within EDN allows us to see that and to have access to that. I think if we were a much larger and more impersonal organization, we could not have that. Or maybe it would be censored, because we know in some countries there is censorship.
It is really nice when you have this enormous network of women from all over Europe responding to your difficult situations. So every once in a while there is a problem with some doulas that they cannot get in the hospitals, or there is some problem with the legislative situation, and all doulas from everywhere then send their own solutions to it. How did they do it? What to do, and of course support. So this is my experience with the Doula Network. There is always support and someone who has been there and went through it.
I think it's important for the doulas in relation to the system. If necessary, at some point, if the system is questioning the doulas, then It may provide some reassurance that there is more than just one or two slightly mad groups to put these ideas across.
Nowadays, I think that the EDN becomes more and more political, if I can say it that way. The issues become more important, and I think one of the goals might be to work that we get known in Brussels, so we could have a voice in the whole childbirth issue in Europe.
EDN is community, it's connection, and it's support.
For me, EDN is family.
EDN is connection.
It's a wonderful collection of wise women.
EDN means profound connection within a doula community.
Is a way for us to stay strong and passionate and connected.
In one phrase, it's a sisterhood. It's really the sense of sisterhood.
It's first of all a big support in my professional life. It's like a connection with many careful hands and many open hearts in different countries in the Europe.
Strength of sisterhood.
We are the EDN. It's made up of its members. It's diverse, it's beautiful, doulaing each other.
In 5 years' time, I imagine the EDN will be better known, but probably much the same size. It may possibly be in a position to pay someone to take on an organisational role.
We are looking into becoming more official. That would allow official funding, which is available, but we would need a lot of committed volunteers to do that, and maybe even paid employees at that point.
I imagine that in 5 years' time the EDN will have had its breakthrough on a political level, and this would be really important.
This would be my dream, maybe to have some kind of human rights in childbirth section that could go all over the Europe, because we can see that this is a big necessity.
A message for the future, for me, would be unity. Not to think, but to actually live and experience unity with humans and with other living sources, with trees, with the earth, with plant, with the weather. I think that's one certain way that we will not do any harm, because I will not harm what is part of me. Sometimes people do, but so yeah, unity with ourselves as well, so that we truly can care.
I think that you cannot be a doula, a true doula, and not be doula to everyone. So this a non-judgmental support that we are taught to give to women, you cannot just switch it on and switch it off. I cannot. So it is much easier to go through life and seeing that every human being has its own difficulties, and you can provide a non-judgmental support.
Yeah, I think we teach a lot to the people who birth, the people who are born, and the people who are around the birth, in the inner circle, the birth workers, midwives, doulas, doctors, nurses, pediatricians. The circle goes outer and outer. And the outer circle may be the ones who hear about this inner circle and the birth. And I'm sure we teach them a lot from the process of how it happens. It can be so transcending. It can be spiritual. It can be a religious experience for some people. And it can be a mundane day at the office for some others. I don't want to live my life as days at the office. So I think it's our choice, up to a certain extent, how we form the system, even within a system that's hard to fight, let's say. I know a lot of wonderful doctors, midwives, who are medical professionals, and they're bringing a very unique, personal touch in that, let's say, impersonal system. I don't think that the area of birth and babyhood anyway is something that can become a routine. So you may have thousands of births in your history, in your experience, and like the 1,001st can be something totally new that you've never experienced before, and you're afresh. You're like a new doula who's asking questions. What shall I do with this case? And that's when you need the colleagues, not just the other doulas, but ask around or do your own inner work to see, how do I deal with this new situation that I have never faced before. So I think it would be like an antidote to pride, the negative aspect of pride. That you can never really say that I've learned it all and I know best.
For me, childbirth is what I gave my working life to.
Giving birth is a rite of passage.
For me, childbirth is a transformation, like a Big Bang, universe transformation.
For me, childbirth is the ultimate trip to the unknown and succeeding it.
Beautiful. Expansion.
Is empowerment.
It has the power to transform a woman into a mother who changes with every new baby, and it also transforms a man into a father.
Incredible transformation that increases the amount of love.
It is about a new beginning, strength, and it's also about hope. And by attending birth in a calm, strong presence, it is about changing the world silently, one birth at a time.
Even in our modern and high technologies time, it's a natural, it's like a natural miracle, and it needs space, it needs time, it needs silence, and it needs a big faith in woman and her baby.
Birth can be beautiful, and I need my doula sisters around me, because by myself I'm just a drop, but together we are making a difference.